Greetings, fellow humans. This is the second installment of me talking about the Emerald Dream cards. So, second card review video. If you want to see the first one after this, it is the previous video. You can see the rest of my amazing takes on the new cards in Wild, where we did everything from neutrals to mage in the previous one. We're starting at Paladin now. So, Renewing Flames, 7 mana nature spell. Actually, it didn't occur to me that this was a nature spell. Shouldn't it be holy? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, Emerald Dream stuff isn't holy. I guess it should be a nature spell. This is a spell that's meant to go with Ursul, right? It's Ursul. But so what the Ursul does, we'll get to it in a second. It's this class's Wild God. It's an 8 mana with stats, and it casts the highest cost spell in your hand as a sigil. So it'll trigger 3 times, or as a, what do they call the Paladin ones? Auras. So it casts it as an aura. So at the end of your turn, this will trigger, and it goes 3 turns in a row. And in Standard, I think that's really strong. In Wild, I don't know. But like, that's what this spell is meant to do. It's meant to go with Ursul. So, I think that's a little fair for a Wild. I don't know what else we would do with this other than enjoy it. I'll give it a 1. Oh, that's the other thing. My scale is 1, 2, and 3. So a 1 is a card that's going to see no play. A 2 is a card that might see some play here and there, and a 3 is a card we're going to see a lot. So that's the, like, each of those tiers has, like, you know, power level differences in them, but you know, I like to keep it simple. So 1, 2, 3. This I'd see as a 1. I don't really see this as a good option over some other things, but it's all right. Mark of Ursul. So 2 mana, choose a minion. If it's an enemy, set its stats to 1/1. If it's friendly, set its stats to 3/3 instead. This is like a better Dark Conviction. Is that what the card was called? I think Equality is better than this. I think the amount that it improves your own minion is not worth not hitting all of your opponent's minions, so I think it's probably bad. And that's how I feel about it. Here's Ursul. So yeah, it's an 8 mana 9/7. Cast the highest cost spell from your hand as an aura that lasts 3 turns. Renewing Flames is probably really good with that. Like, I'm sure it's good with that in Standard. Like, I've been playing, I got some 6-win brawls with that on the back of that interaction. But let's check if we can't do anything more exciting with that in Wild. Yeah, that's what I should just leave this here and tap to it. Classes, Paladin. It's highest cost spell, not, yeah, okay. So we want, why is it a Paladin and it shows me these Death Knight cards? Okay, there we go. We go from high to low, and we choose card type, spell. Hey, King Donnie. So we could, man, I hate this. Why does this have to happen? Why can't it just go away? Oh, it can go away. I could just press that. Never mind. All right. So we can, anything can happen. Funny. We can Sea Shanty, actually. Almost interesting. Summon a minion from each player's deck. Repeat until either side of the battlefield is full. That's really bad as end of turn, right? Because then you don't get a chance to deal with the stuff you summon for your opponent. Tip and Libram. Summon a minion from your deck, give it Taunt and Divine Shield. That's almost interesting. The end of your turn, summon a random 6-cost minion, last 3 turns. Interesting. Dino size. I love that they changed this to be Ultra Source stats. It's so funny. Divine Toll shoots 5 rays at random minions. Oh, Kangors. All right, so the reason that looking at the high cost spells is interesting is because there's a weapon that tutors your highest cost stuff. So you could play two of the weapon and 2 weapon technician, and then tutor Ursul and Kangor's Endless Army, and like repeatedly summon big juiced up mechs over and over and over again. Interesting. Avenging Wrath. I think Renewing Flames is better than Avenging Wrath. Yeah, I'm not like really excited about any of this. I think we've already covered the really good ones. So the one that everyone wants to talk about is they buffed this, by the way, and I didn't notice. This is kind of exciting. Oh, Call to Arms. Nah. The one that everyone wants to talk about is, where are we? Did I already pass it? No, it should be towards the end of it. This one, Timeout. So your hero is immune until your next turn. So you can play Ursol, and then you can, if Timeout is the highest cost spell in your hand, you get 3 turns of immunity. And then, so like, that could be good, but what Paladin deck is going to do that? I think that Paladin right now has 2 win conditions, and it's either Holy Wrath, which is the main condition. You don't want Ursol randomly casting Holy Wrath 3 turns in a row. Or Uther. And if you're going Turbo Uther, which is probably the better way to run Uther, you're running Call to Arms, right? So you play Order in the Court to order your deck, gets you your Uther and then your Nozdormu. And then you can Nozdormu to play your Uther, whatever. But then you're running Call to Arms to go fish for your little squibbies. So not only does Ursol mess with your Call to Arms order, you're finding Nozdormu at least a turn slower, but if you drew one of your Call to Arms early, you can never ever cast Ursol. Ever. You can't cast it because it will always hit Call to Arms over Timeout, and you don't want your Call to Arms to summon all of your combo pieces before it's combo time. So like, I don't think there's a deck that could play it. Like, you can't do anything worth doing in Paladin and also run Ursol reliably hitting Timeout. So I don't think that's a thing. That's something you could do for the sake of it being cute, but it's not going to be good. Yeah. So I want to give Ursol a 1, honestly, which is kind of weird because I think it's actually decent, but I don't think it has the right spell. Like, Kangor's Endless Army, I will almost want to give it a 2 for Kangor's because, like, you can reliably do that. You can use the weapon to find it. So maybe I'll give it the softest 2. But if it sees play, it's a Kangor. It's to recast Kangor. That's the only way I could see it. And here's the weapon I was talking about. So 4 mana, 4/2. After your hero attacks, draw your highest cost card. I think the fact that this is a 4 cost card makes it awkward for the Uther Paladin deck, but otherwise I would like it. Like, say this was a 3 for 3/2, and it doesn't disrupt your Order in the Court order, but it also doesn't matter that it draws your highest cost at that point. But yeah, I mean, like, it's a good way to hit Uther, and then, you know, if you're lucky, the next card it hits will be Nozdormu, so that's decent. It draws your Ceaseless, yeah. So like, Holy Wrath, you don't want this for sure. But I mean, like, I could see it in like a Reno Paladin that isn't using. If your Reno Paladin is not using Holy Wrath as its win condition, I could see this for sure. Dream Warden. So 4 mana, 3/4, taunt, battle cry. If there is a card in your deck that didn't start there, draw it and gain +2/+2. So can we do Ysera, Nozdormu, Slow Paladin with Cthulhu? So like, I don't think the Imbue deck has any potential in Paladin, in Wild rather. I think it almost has potential in Standard, but I think it's going to get overshadowed by Libram stuff. The fact that you have to like hero power to get those portals into your deck, I think makes the Imbue deck bad. Like 2 mana for no immediate impact is bad. I know because I played a ton of it in the Theorycraft and then in the Brawl. I think it's like it's good enough in standard, I think, to be decent. You know, it's a lot of inevitability, but finding the time to be able to spend 2 mana to shuffle portals is hard. It's like just good enough. So like for this to be good in Wild, we need non-imbue things for it to find. So Cthulhu is a meme, but like it would be fun because there's this and another card. We could find those pieces pretty reliably. And when it finds something, it's a 5/6 taunt, right? That's not bad. But the other one is Mankrik, yes. So we can play Mankrik on 3 and then play this on 4, and that's really solid if we have Mankrik, but we can't tutor Mankrik. So like, are we gonna run this guy and the 1-cost card with only Mankrik synergy? Mankrik is the one that summons, like it puts Mankrik, Ancrete Mankrik into your deck. They didn't unnerf it, so it's a 3/7 still, and it attacks a random enemy when it comes out. So if you always had Mankrik on 3 into this on 4, I would say, yeah, for sure, this is good. But we need other stuff to get out of your deck with this for it to be good. Like what else is there in Paladin? You can get your Mercurial Prime. You can get Immortal Prelate back. Yeah, that's not what I meant to do. You can't get Immortal Prelate back, right? It's like it didn't start there. This started there. It's a shame. How about neutral? You could use it to draw your Hakars. Son of Hodier. Interesting. I mean, it's not good enough, but should we play Rivendare War Rider Paladin? Is it a card, or if there's a card? Okay, it is card, not spell. Oh my goodness, chat. We'll just play it with Malchezaar. Why not? Why not, chat? Give me one good reason why we shouldn't Malchezaar. He has to find the map. Is Greenwing good enough, actually? Probably not. I've had a battle cry. This shuffles a copy, so you could get Floppy Hydra back. You get Baleful Bank or something. Get your Fizzle. Alright, I guess we have some options. I don't think they're good enough. I'm still going to give this a 1, but, you know, it's cute. Then we have, okay, so here's the 1 mana, the one that does something similar. So you draw a spell that started in your deck and one that didn't. So it's draw 2 cards if there's stuff in your deck. It almost gives Cthulhu some value just because it becomes draw 2 cards. How good is 1 mana, draw a good card and a bad card? How good is that? Because if 1 mana, draw a good card and a bad card is good enough, we could run Cthulhu and Mankrik and this and that other thing. But probably not, right? Crystology Project. Throw it in Reno Paladin, play it after Marin the Manager. I mean, like, you need more than that, I think. You need a lot more. The fact that Cthulhu is every time, like, there will be stuff in your deck, gives it some value, I think. Like, I don't think if you're running just Mankrik and just Marin, I don't think it's enough. Like, this is going to be a dead card in your deck for a long time. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm gonna give them ones, but like, it's the type of one where there's still something to do with it. Aegis of Light, so this is only going to be as good as imbuing is. So it's 1 for summon a random 1 cost minion and give a taunt, and then you imbue your hero power. It is holy, so we can tutor it. Holy, we can tutor it. So we can Crystology, Night of Anointment. If we want to, it can always hit this, but I think we do have to at least run this. Kind of cute. I think Imbue Paladin is going to be really not great in Wild. I'm not really seeing it. So it summons a random dragon equal to the cost, whose cost is equal to the amount of times you've imbued. So you have to imbue a lot before you get a decent dragon. And yeah, I don't think we're... The fact that I can Crystology to find this, I think makes it a little bit more interesting, but I think it's still a 1. Gold Petal Drake, so red scale, we can find this pretty reliably. 3 mana, 3/4 dragon, Battlecry and Death Rattle imbue your hero power. So again, we can, with reliability, find this a lot of the time, played on curve. Standard can too, I think, isn't the core set getting red scale back? 3 mana wild. You guys gotta be careful, like just pretending the 3 mana cards are, I don't know. Hey, 3 mana wild, huh? 3 mana cards are playable in wild. But yeah, I don't think this is great. Just don't be stupid about it. Sorry, I'm making this for YouTube. I shouldn't focus on people being dumb in my chat. Just, I'm tired of not calling people stupid when they're being stupid. But yeah, I mean, like, not because it's 3 mana, but just because, you know, the nature of how imbue is. I don't think this is very strong, but we can find it reliably. So is that the only thing that searches for dragons in Paladin? Draw a dragon. Draw a dragon? Nope. I can't search for it that way, so we'll never know. Is a 3/3 undead with Death Rattle, right? What are you talking about? I don't know. But yeah, I give that a 1 just because I don't have a lot of faith in the imbue. So then Torith the Unbreaking, 3 mana or 5 mana 3/4 Divine Shield taunt, and your Divine Shields take 3 hits to break. I looked at this and thought it was like a really stupid card, but then I played against it in the Theorycraft and in the Brawl, and it's like unkillable. It's so unkillable. Like, it comes down and then it's just like, it takes so much to get through it. And like, you can silence it, right? But you have to have a silence. So if you have Divine Shields out already, or you plan on 6 with a Righteous Protector, they never get to you. You can give your hero Divine Shield 2. That's true, yeah. I actually think this might be a 2. I don't. The thing is, like, what deck are you putting this in, right? Do you just play it as a defensive taunt that can block 3 things? Like, you just drop it with no synergy? You can replay the Divine Shield on it too. That's cute. Yeah. I don't know. This card's probably going to see some play somewhere. Maybe. Unless it doesn't. I'll give it a 2. I'll be generous. We'll give it a 2. Then we have Lightmender. 4 mana, 3/5, taunt, choose 1. +3 attack and Divine Shield, or +3 health and lifesteal. This didn't even feel good in the Theorycraft stream, so I'm going to give that a 1. It seems like it's 2 years too old or something. This is pack filler now. All right, so that was Paladin. Paladin got some interesting tools, but I don't know that it got anything like super game changing. I don't think it really got anything that like I think will see play in Wild. So on to Priest, we have imbue your hero power. This is why they reworked Raza. So if you were a Raza Highlander deck enthusiast in Wild, you can get wrecked. You discover you discover a temporary spell or a temporary minion, and its cost is reduced by the amount of times you've imbued. And yeah, so this is a 2 for 3/1 beast lifesteal, and you imbue your hero power. I can't like, maybe if Wild had Raza, you know, it'd be something cute that you could run for the sake of it, but don't know if they really had to gut Wild Raza for that. Like, the Raza they changed is standard Raza. It's a standard Raza. It's a standard card. They were worried about the implications of it for standard. Anyways, yeah. Do I think this is good? Probably not. Just because, like, the having to run a River Croc and 4 Divine Shield Taunt to make all these imbue things work is eh. But it's a 3/1 beast with lifesteal, so it's not the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It's still a 1 though. Keldrai Priestess, 4 mana, 4/4 Battlecry. Give all enemy minions -2 attack until your next turn. Imbue your hero power. This is a super one. I think both of the neutral ones are better than this. Like, it gives you a little bit of stall power, but like, I don't know. It's like one of the worst imbue cards that's around, right? Like, it's such weird impact. Even if it gave all enemy minions -2 attack permanently, I'm not that excited about it. I think it's a 1. Moonwell, 7 mana, deal 4 damage to all enemy characters, restore 4 health to all friendly characters. So this is like Flame Strike, like old Flame Strike, but it also heals from your own stuff. How would I feel about Ursul if it had access to this? Like, this is a good Ursul spell, right? Like, if I could, if this was a Paladin card and I could play that weapon to draw the highest cost, and I got Ursul and this, like, that'd be neat, right? I think so, but obviously it's not. In Priest in Wild doesn't even run the 7 cost broken board clears that it used to, right? So I don't think we're gonna play this, but yeah, I'll give it a 1. It doesn't even have a type, right? Like, the fact that it's not a shadow spell, first of all, I think automatically disqualifies it, because like, what Wild Priest deck is going to want to play a 7 mana spell that isn't also playing Benedictus? So yeah, I don't know. Twilight Influence. Destroy a minion with 3 or less attack, or summon a random 2-cost minion. Shadow spell. So there was a time when Shadow Word Pain was good enough for Shadow Raza Priest. That time has passed. However, this is either destroy a minion if you need it to on curve, or, you know, get a little bit of tempo on curve. So this is pretty significantly better than that. I almost, like, I'll give it a 2. I'll give it a 2. And I'm gonna give it a 2 because it's like gonna see play in some people's Renathal piles, but I don't know if it's especially strong, but you're gonna see it, I think. Ritual of the New Moon, 5 mana arcane spell, summon 2 random 3-cost minions, and then you can cast 3 spells to summon 6-cost minions instead. This is actually the first time seeing this card. I didn't notice this card before. 3 6-cost minions. I think this is here to be an exciting imbue card. Like, if you've imbued enough, you can get this. But you need to cast 3 spells to make it good, so maybe not. Huh. It's kind of a lot of a tempo, if you can activate it. It's a 1. I don't know. Wish of the New Moon. So when I first saw this card, it was already activated. So it's 3 mana, deal 6 damage to a minion, and you can cast 3 spells to gain lifesteal. And the first time I saw this card, it was already activated. I was like, why are they getting a better version of the Death Knight spell? You're like, it's the exact same card, right? But 1 less mana. But it isn't, right? You have to work to make this a better card than that. So it's interesting. But it is not Shadow, right? So this would have had to be Shadow, or would have had to be able to go face, and it doesn't do those things, so it's a 1. Weaver of the Cycle, 3 mana 3/3. If you're holding a spell that costs 5 or more, deal 3 damage. So is 3 mana 3/3, no condition, deal 3 damage. How good is that? Like, if this is no condition, would it be good? I think it would be all right, right? Like, it wouldn't be great, but it'd be all right. But we don't really run, so the 5 cost spells we play in Priest are like Mass Hysteria, and that's it. We don't run Scream, we don't run Mirror, we don't run Light Bomb, we don't run any of that stuff anymore. So like, this is a pretty tough condition to meet, I guess. I think, you know, if we were running Mass Hysteria and Psychic Scream and what was that other 7 cost spell called, the Mirror one? If we were running all that, then yeah, sure. I think this would see play, but we aren't, so I don't think we are. So 1. Tyrande, 7 mana 5/7 Battlecry. The next 3 spells you play cast twice. What are our high cost priest spells that we'd want to do this with? Mass Resurrect, cute. Whirlpool. Wait, they just cast twice, right? So okay, wait, it's not like the Ursel. I take it back. Mind Blast, I was thinking Mind Blast too, but like, if you're gonna do a Mind Blast thing with this, you're just playing Shadow Priest, and this is too expensive for Shadow Priest. Oh my goodness, Standard seems good. But I guess maybe I am looking at 2 high cost cards. Like, what do you want with this? Is it better than Vargoth? That's a really good point. It probably is not. Yeah, it's like Mind Blast or nothing, right? Okay, so you can say you play this in like a Renathal pile, and then you add Mind Blast and Acupuncture. You could, on 10, deal 18 damage from hand this way. If your stuff is already online, you could, you know, if you've already played Raza and Anduin, you could, you know, deal even more damage than that. It doesn't have to be a big spell to be good twice, yeah. Shattered Reflections, that is a priest card too, isn't it? I'm gonna give this a 1, but like, I don't know. It's interesting. Selenic Drake, 4 mana 3/6 dragon, elusive. At the end of your turn, get a random dragon. I did not realize this was a priest card because I've only ever seen it off of the imbue hero power in Paladin. This is obviously not a wild card, so it's a 1 cost, or it's a 1 star rather. Yeah. Shadow Visions into Tomb Mind Blast for 20 damage, pretty spicy. Aviana, Elun's Chosen, so 9 mana 7/11 Battlecry. This does not like. Did this happen to Aviana in World of Warcraft? Did she like undergo some transformation that she looks like this? Like, it's so bizarre to me. This does not look like Aviana at all. This looks like a whole separate entity. Does anyone know? Do I have any like WoW fans? Did Aviana like transform into a bird thing? Thoughts, Sparkly? He doesn't have any thoughts. He doesn't know. He doesn't play WoW. Anyways, so like it's just really bizarre to me. It's like, Aviana, really? I don't think so. Not the Aviana I know. So you play this. It's a 9 mana 7/11. So it costs a jillion mana. Then you start a 3-turn lunar cycle, and when the full moon rises, your cards cost 1 this game. So is turn 1 the turn you play this, or is it the beginning of your next turn? So is it you play this on turn 1 and then turn 2, turn 3, or is it you play this and then turn 1, turn 2, turn 3? Is it meant to be a nightmare, Aviana? Is that what you guys are saying? I don't know, but it's a very, very weird design choice to me. Anyways, either way, I think this is probably just not good in Wild. It's cute. I don't know that it's any good. Seems kind of bad. Obviously, if you get to the end of it, all your stuff costing 1 is pretty good, especially if you were able to like play Raza and Anduin. Suddenly, all of your stuff is a hero power trigger. So I'll probably play with it. It's probably not good. All right, so that was Priest. I wasn't excited about anything, right? Yeah, it's like the removal spell is, I think, the only thing I gave more than a 1. The 2 cost removal, the like strictly better Shadow Word Pain. Unlucky. All right, so Harbinger of the Blighted, onto the Rogue. I saw a J. Alex post where he showcased a Brawl deck based around all the Shadow Step stuff, and I went 6-2 on my first and only try with that deck, so might be okay. Except that it's losing a bunch of its synergies next year, as far as like the core set was the same for this Brawl, and there were a lot of like, you know, like Leroy was in the deck, so it won't have Leroy next year for standard. Is Firefly sticking around or no? I don't know. You guys don't know either. But this felt like a really strong card. You play it on 2 and Shadow Step it, or you play it on 2, and if it sticks, you get to like you coin it on 1 and then play the new Shadow Step-esque Spider card. And that's a ton of stats. Every time this comes back to your hand, it's so much stats. So we have like what we have that standard won't is like Breakdance and Tenwu, and is that all that's good? We have third copy of various spells with Shadow of Demise. Youthful Brewmaster and Tearing Escape, I guess. So like as far as good ones, I think we have Bounce Around, Shadow of Demise, and Tenwu. But Tenwu only possibly. So I think this will be good in some Miracle Rogue builds. Like, it's not bad at all. But I'm gonna give it a soft 2. I could also see it just being like slightly too bad to play, but I think it's a pretty solid card. Web of Deception. So 2 mana, return a friendly minion to your hand, summon a 4/4 spider with stealth. So this is kind of good in like a similar way that Bounce Around or Breakdance is good, because like Breakdance is less about getting the minion back and more about making a bunch of stats for 1 mana. So like Breakdance, you get a giant back, you get an 8/8 with Rush. This is like twice as much as Breakdance and has a much harder cap on what it can summon, so it's kind of more important that you're bringing back something you want to get back, which is what makes me think it might not be any good. But you know, it's probably an okay Quest Rogue card. It's a little better in the early game and quite a bit worse once stuff like Giants are online. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I want to give it a 2 because I think like it's pretty solid for what it does, but it's not a confident 2. This could be awful. So, isn't Doomsayer too? You guys are so funny. They're like, there are literally 100 million billion 2-cost cards in Wild. Yes, Doomsayer's in there. It'll happen sometimes. Like, it'll happen to an individual once, like out of every 2,000 people who play this card. You know, like yes, Doomsayer's in there. It's not a factor of whether or not this is good. Like, it will be good despite Doomsayer. That's not a factor at all. Cute rogue. Okay, so there's the other thing. We have this, let's find it. Here it is. So when you play another minion, you've already played draw card, 1 mana, 1/3 beast. This card is fantastic and has a lot of synergy with Web of Deception. So you play whatever 1 cost and like attack with it or something, or whatever value you get out of it. And then on turn 2, you get it back to your hand and you get a 4/4 spider with stealth, which is good stats. And then you have a card back in your hand to draw a card off of Twisted Web Weaver later on. Oh, it's got a little Brightwing guy in there. So sad. So as far as like this card seeing any play, I feel like this is a really important piece of that. So like I'll give this a 2, mostly because this exists. So obviously Shadow Step and Breakdance are better for this than that, but you know, this is a really solid card. What I want to know is, Quest Rogue aside, is Flybooter any good just because of this? Like, not like Caverns Below aside, does Flybooter, is that good with this? It's hypothetical full draw with Penflinger. How are we doing that? There's got to be a third piece of that, right? Does the second copy of the same minion in your deck count for this? Yes. Yes, it does. Pretend it's Garrett Rogue and this is Field Contact. You just mean a lot of draw. I thought you were saying that it's infinite draw. Or do you mean like with Quasar? You just mean it's a lot of draw, not you can draw infinitely. Yeah, like I could definitely see how Penflinger makes this like draw a ton of cards. I think this is a 3-star card. But I don't know how instantly you draw your full deck with this. But like definitely with like coins and stuff, sure. You could like clear stuff with Penflinger and, you know, draw a bunch of cards. Like I think this is a 3-star card. I think this card's gonna be phenomenal. And has some pretty good implications for that other stuff. So we're gonna see this manifest in some way, you know. Maybe not just with Penflinger, but maybe with Penflinger. I don't know. It's definitely a Quest Rogue card too. The flavor text seems like Marshy wrote it. The spider's so evil that it catches things in its web and eats them. Yeah, real. All right, then we have Renferal, not to be confused with Renathal, the Malignant. 3 mana, 3/3 beast. Trap 1 random card in your opponent's hand for a turn. Improved for each time you've played this. It traps more cards the more times it's played. I actually forgot this card existed. So you play it on 3 and then you step it. Then you play it on 4 and you either do the 2-cost thing or you bounce around it. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna do this. It's gotta be bad, right? Is there a neutral way to draw a beast other than that like expensive one? Draw a beast. I was Curator, but like that's too late. Draw a beast. We want in Rogue. Okay, so draw a beast to cost 3 less, or draw a beast to dragon and a Murloc. And we're going to be running it. We're going to be running in that same deck that has the in the same deck that has the 1/3 in it. So we're not even reliably hitting it. The answer is Shroud, Swindle, Dig. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Just run the draw minion. You don't care that it's a beast. Just means you can't run that many minions. I was thinking about something that specifically finds this 100% of the time, but like when I went down that rabbit hole, I forgot that this is also a beast. So do I think this is gonna be good? Probably not, right? Like you need to invest a lot into this one minion that you could be investing into other things that win the game faster. Do I think it has a high potential for me to annoy people? Absolutely. I'm kind of looking forward to that. When it says played this, does it mean Renferal the Malignant period? Or does it mean this exact copy that I've brought back to my hand? Because like, if I Togwaggle scheme this, when do they get their cards back? Do they get the cards back on their turn, or do they get them back on my turn? It's like end of their turn, beginning of my next turn. What is it? Does anyone know? I don't know. I know it's one turn off, but like if they get it going back to their next turn or coming back to my turn is a big difference. Like it means whether or not I can chain their hand away forever. Does anyone know? Does anyone have a legit answer to me? At the end of their turn? Okay, cool. So, yeah. At a certain point, you just lock your opponent out of their hand for the rest of the game. It'll be funny. It's not going to be good, right? So I'm going to give it 1. Tricky Satyr, 3 mana, 4/3 demon. Get a copy of the lowest cost card in your opponent's hand. That's a card. Is this good in standard? Not sure. Not good in wild. Nightmare Fuel, 1 mana, discover a copy of a minion in your opponent's deck, combo with a dark gift. I don't like, this is like odd rogue type of card, right? Like even though not necessarily, but like something where it's just kind of like cheap tempo value. And that doesn't really exist in Rogue right now. Yeah. Keep in mind, Dark Gifts are like 2 mana effects. This selects from your opponent's power cards. So you think this is good? What would you play it in? Like, I can't imagine it. Like, I wouldn't put it in Pirate Rogue, wouldn't put it in Miracle Rogue. I guess, like, is there a Arena Rogue? It's a Velorok card? You think it's Renathal Pile playable? Oh, yeah, I just don't think that, like, Rogue is the best Renathal Pile class. Maybe it's underplayed, I don't know. I just, like, I don't think it's going to take Rogue from not a Renathal Pile class to a good Renathal Pile class, so I think I'd probably give it a 1, but maybe, I don't know. Mimicry, 1 mana, your opponent draws 2 cards, you get copies of them. Can we ruin our opponent's good time with this somehow by playing a bunch of them? Mill Rogue is so back. I guess we're bouncing Cold Light Oracle, and we did get another Shadow Step, even though it's not a very good one for that. It's like a reverse Shadow Step. Instead of it costing 2 less, it costs 2 more. If you're using it just to bounce. So I don't know. I mean, like, if you're running Miracle Rogue, you always run this, right? This would be good in Mill, but it doesn't solve any of Mill's problems. Exactly, yeah, there you are. I was trying to think if there's a way that you could play it a bunch, like, but there's not a good way you can do that, right? I don't think so. So it's a 1. Shadow Cloaked Assailant, 4 mana 3/5 demon. If you're holding one of the same cards as your opponent, shuffle theirs into their deck. Okay, I don't know. It's not good, right? Like, this would have to be a 1 mana 1/2 or 1 mana 1/3, I think, for me to be excited about it. But like, if you're playing something to copy something from your opponent, and then the next turn you're playing a 4 mana 3/5 on curve to get rid of a card in their hand, like, kind of bad. Will be good in Priest? I don't think so. I think it's just bad. I think it's just yucky doo-doos. Like, it's a 4 mana 3/5 to get rid of a card in your opponent's hand if you've done something. Like, if this was just 4 mana 3/5, shuffle a card in your opponent's hand into their deck, I wouldn't play that. What deck is going to play that? It's worth Gravedigger. Yeah, and the Gravedigger discovers, right? You get to pick from 3. Not good, better. Okay, fair enough. Ashmane. All right. When I first saw this card, I was like, whatever about it. But then I played against it in the Theorycraft and in the Brawl, and it's like, oh my goodness, this card is nasty. I think this card is really good in Standard. Do I think it's good in Wild? Probably not. I just like, is there a rogue deck that wants to get to 9 mana and play this? If you do, it gives you a handful of good cards that cost 3 less, right? It's not even random cards. It's stuff from your opponent's deck. So it fills your hand with good cards. Are we making this cheaper somehow? I don't think so. But like, I don't know. If you play this, it's really strong. I don't think that there's a rogue deck that wants to get to 9 mana. If there was, I'd be a lot more excited about it. But we're not, like, if we're playing rogue, we're not really trying to get to 9 mana. So I don't think this is great. I'm not even sure Standard Rogue wants to go to 9 mana unless it's Starships, which probably doesn't want this. Really? I thought it was really good when it was played against me. That was really strong. Thief Rogue? I mean, like, if you're running Thief Rogue, you're running Thief. Like, if this is a Thief Rogue tier card, then it's a Thief Rogue tier card. We don't need to talk about it. I'm trying to think if it's good. Cattle Rustler makes this a 6. If you don't want, if you want to play 2 Cattle Rustlers and you don't want to run the new 1 mana 1/3 Auctioneer, then sure. But yeah. Now we need a card to make your hand limitless. If this gets you 5 cards that cost 3 less, it's so strong. But yeah, I think it's a 1 for Wild. But, you know, I think it's a really good card if you could get it out early, or if some kind of slower rogue deck manifests. Barbed Thorn, 3 mana 1/3, choose 1, gain poisonous this turn, or gain death rattle, deal 2 damage to all enemies. It's like super awful. Isn't this hot trash? Why is this so bad? This is really bad. How did this card get so bad, chat? Wait. Is there something about... It's a bad joke. Just about the worst card of the set. I don't know, I've seen some sneakers, but I guess it's up there. Nothing you're missing, it just sucks. Okay, cool. Moving on. That's a 1. Alright, so that was Rogue. Rogue has some really interesting cards. I think it's got some of the more interesting cards we've seen so far. I don't know that they quite manifest into anything like really strong and wild, but for people who like to explore those type of things, I think it gives you a lot to mess around with. Then for Shaman, we have Glow Root Lure, 6 mana, taunt, 6/6, cost 1 less for each time you use your hero power this game. Well, chat, is there a deck that wants to use its hero power a whole bunch of times, and then play really cheap taunts? I think there is. I think there's one. I don't know that this is going to take even Shaman from being unplayable to being playable, to be honest. Well, like, so you hero power on 1, play a 2 cost on 2, hero power, play a 2 on 3. Like, it doesn't actually come down really fast. If you compare it to Think From Below scales off of like your hero power and all the cards you're playing, whereas this just reduces off of your hero power. So like, you've used it 3 times, you're summoning a 3 for 6/6 taunt. It's decent, but I don't know that this is actually any good. But here, Even Shaman is what comes to mind when I see this. I think I'm going to give it a 1. But it's... that's the other thing too, is it has to be Even Shaman in Wild, right? This is meant to go with the MartianBuu Shaman stuff. But if we're playing it in Wild, it's because of Even Shaman. The hero power in Shaman is otherwise notoriously bad, right? So like... you don't want to be hero powering in any other deck than Even Shaman. And Even Shaman, I don't know that you press the hero power button enough times for this to be good. So I'm going to give it a 1. But possibility to show up in Even Shaman. Then we have Aspects and Race. 2 mana, restore 4 health, imbue your hero power. I really like the art on this one. It's cool. But otherwise it's only as good as an imbue deck is. I think it's a good imbue card. Do we have ways to... we have like triangulate, right? So we could like play this and triangulate, and then maybe we can imbue without having to use the awful neutral cards. The art in the set overall has been really good. Yeah, it's a huge... I don't know. I wish I knew for a fact that this year's style was here to stay, because like both in card design and in art and in like set flavor, it's much more back in the direction that I appreciate. So like I would love to be confident that we were going to see sets like this from here on out, but we'll see what they have next year. It's cool to have a year of good flavor design, at least. Anyways, like Evolve in Wild I don't think is gonna be any good, and the tools I'm thinking of that could make this a bit better are also standard available, so it's not like we're bringing anything new to the table. DK, Thrall, hero power, and Shambles. Yep, it's evolved by it's the imbue hero power is evolve a minion as many times as you've imbued. Typhoon, 10 mana, each minion gets shuffled into a random player's deck. So it's worse Psychic Scream for 3 extra mana. How is this so bad? This exists for Yogg? I guess so. So this is a 1. Plucky Podling, 1 mana, 1/2. If this will transform into a minion, it transforms into one that costs 2 more. It's actually like, if Evolved Shaman was ever going to be a thing in Wild, it would definitely play this, right? This is great for an Evolved deck. I don't like, are the rest of the pieces there? I don't think so. The imbue minions are a little bit better in an Evolved deck, aren't they? Because you just evolve them. I don't know. I think it's like, it's not gonna be a good deck, but it might be good enough that someone like me could play it and enjoy it. Then we have Emerald Bounty. So draw 2 cards and you can't play them for 2 turns. I'd rather overload 1, wouldn't I? Evolved is capped at 10 now, makes a big difference, does it? Like, if I'm evolving things to 11, I think I'm already happy. Like, if I'm evolving things, if my imbue is high enough to turn things into 11 cost cards, then I'm happy, aren't I? Regardless. Like, sure, 10 is better, but I don't think that makes or breaks whether evolve is good. No, you guys are saying like don't forget that it's capped at 10 now, like it matters. That's what I'm saying. I understand that that's true. I'm just saying like if things are going well enough in my game that my evolves are turning things into snow flurry giants or whatever they're called, the 8/8s, I'm happy, right? We're winning. If that, I don't think that changes it, right? We're already making giant things with our evolves. So like they're better giant things, but like the problem isn't making big exciting stuff. It's getting to the point where we can make big exciting stuff. So I don't think the evolve capping at 10 is going to make or break whether or not wild evolve is playable. Is my point. But isn't this Dookie? Why is this card so bad? Who made this card so bad? Shaman already had a better one. Isn't Overload 1 better than this? Or no? Shaman tax? Weird. It's a 1, right? Not even Renathal Shutter Shaman would play this. Reno Renathal. Spirit of the Forest, 5 mana, choose 1, summon 3/2/3 wolves with taunt, or summon 2/4/3 falcons with Wind Fury. That's a 1. Beanstalk Brute, 5 mana, 4/4 elemental, give +4/+4 to the top 3 minions in your deck. It's cute, but it's probably not good, right? Onhara, 9. Oh, so this is a 1. Onhara, 9 mana, 5/11 beast. At the end of your turn, play the top 3 cards from your deck. So when it says play, will you get the battle cry triggers? Because normally in times like these, it wouldn't. We don't? Okay. This card is awful. What are we doing this with? Big Shaman? Is this Big Shaman? Because other than the one Battlecry minion, you don't mind playing your top 3 cards. But I mean, like, you want your summon to win you the game, right? So you'd much rather this just hit the minions that you would hope that this would hit than have this. So yeah, nah, this is a 1. Marithra, 6 mana, 4/8, 6 mana, 4/4. Resurrect all different friendly minions that cost 8 or more. If this was a spell, it would be a nasty, nasty Big Shaman spell. But unfortunately, it's a minion. Shudderwalk. Resurrects all your Shudderwalks that have died. Is that good? It resurrects a Shudder. But yeah, you're right, it's different. So it's only 1. Oh, Shudderwalk would not... I see what you're saying. All right, I'm out. I think that's a 1, isn't it? What other way would this be good? It just wouldn't be. It's a sweet card, though. Living Garden, 3 mana, 2/3 elemental. Imbue your hero power. Reduce the... Oh, you know what? That version of Questline Shaman that summons all the giants. This would resurrect giants. Your opponent clears your arcane golems. You play this the turn after. It brings them all back. I mean, like, it's not going to take that deck from nobody plays it to plays it again. So there's that. But I guess that's how I'd play it if I was going to. 3 mana, 2/3. Battlecry, imbue your hero power. Reduce the cost of a minion in your hand by 1. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, Chad. I'm kind of warming up to this MartianBuu card. I'm warming up to it. I don't know. I think it's not going to like a 2, right? But it's going from unplayable 1 to like I think I'll get a video or 2 out of it. Type of 1. All right, so that was all the shaman stuff. There wasn't anything I was that excited about, right? Like, yeah. Even shaman 1 isn't even that great. All right, on to Warlock. We have Abracadabra. It's a 10 mana 8/9 beast. The next card you play costs your opponent's health instead of mana, up to 10. This has been really good off of Malorn. Thank you for not butchering his name. Wow. Yeah. Why up to 10 mana? So you can't just play the Ceaseless Expanse for 56 and kill your opponent with it. But it's funny. In Wild, you have Expired Merchant plus Shallow Grave. Caught the Streaming Martian. What up, Kyle? What's Shallow Grave? Trigger a friendly minion's death rattle, then destroy it. Oh, you're talking about just copying it? We need this to cost 0. So do we play it in Spaghetti Plot Twist Paladin? Or Plot Twist Warlock? I guess. It's a beast for a curator. I feel like this has got to be a 1, right? Like, it's a 10 mana Pyroblast. You get a free 8/9 beast alongside your 10 mana card, and it Pyroblasts your opponent. Oh, you could draw it off Symphony. That's true. You could Symphony it. Then what? Yeah, I'll give it a 1. I think it like you could do funny stuff with it, but you're not going to do something like good with it. Hungering Spaghetti. So 8 mana, 6/7. At the end of your turn, eat a minion in your deck and gain its stats. Death Rattle added to your hand. Oh, it's 8 mana. Never mind. I was like, this is interesting. But like, what am I going to play this for 8? Stop it. Stop it, chat. None of that. Rotheart Dryad. 1 mana, 1/1. Death Rattle. Draw a minion that costs 7 or more. So good with like Skull of the Minari, but then, you know, it's only as good as Skull of the Minari is. This in Reno slot? Yeah, as long as we have enough. Sure, yeah, probably. Why Death Rattle? Yeah. Too bad Kobold. Yeah, but you can only run one. You can only run one Kobold in a Reno slot pile. Could be interesting with Dorian. Yeah, I don't want to quite give it a 2. I guess real soft 2. I think this is all right. This could do something. Probably not good enough to be a Giants tutor. Tutor the Giants with it. That's actually interesting, not gonna lie. You could pull your Barbara Grubber? Oh, yeah, you could. It's interesting. I don't know. I'll give it a 2. Something like this is gonna... It's a 1-cost card that tutors something general, but can be made to be specific, you know? So, like, even if it doesn't see immediate play, it's like... It's got applications somewhere, surely. Archdruid of Thorns. 2 mana, 3/2. Battlecry. Gain the death rattles of your minions that died this turn. I don't think this is a Mind Warlock card. Shellfish Mill. But like, we have better things to interact with that than this. I don't think this is a Mind Warlock card. Mind Warlock Boomer. Yeah, it is a bit Boomer, isn't it, at this point? I'll give that a 1, just because I don't think it's better than anything we're currently doing. Oh, like, I'd have to look at the death rattles, I guess, a bit more, because it could be that we could, like, trade off some big juicy thing, and then this just copies one death rattle and it ends up being all right, just tempo wise, but I don't know. Fractured Power, 2 mana, destroy one of your mana crystals in 2 turns, gain 2. So you play this on 2, your next turn you have 2 mana crystals, but the turn after that you have 5, right? It just seems like a very mildly scuffed Wild Growth. I don't think it's bad. Isn't it? Isn't it decent? The text is funny. Look at what Warlocks need just to mimic a fraction of our power. That's funny. I don't know. I think this is decent. I'm into it. I think that's a 3. I would probably play that in... Oh my goodness, we could play it in Even Warlock. I mean, I would play this in Warlock decks for sure. Like value Renathal, Renopile, Warlocks, I'd play that for sure. I'll give it a 3. Then we have Sleep Paralysis, 5 mana, Assassinate, or you could summon 2 3/6 demons with Taunt that also can attack. This card is embarrassing, chat. Why is this card the worst thing I've ever seen in my whole life? Isn't even this just stupid? How is this card as bad as it is? It's like actually just awful. It is so awful. Both sides of this are separately awful, and together they make a... You know how when you fuse things, they're greater than the sum of their parts? I think you fuse these two things and they're worse than the sum of their parts, all right? Yeah, obviously they're not, like the fact that you could choose either. But yeah, it's a 1. Wallow the Wretched, 7 mana, 6/6. While this is in your hand or deck, it gains a copy of every dark gift given to your minions. Have we seen a dark gift card for Warlock yet? No. So far it's just the neutral ones. There's a couple little decent ones. Discover a Death Rattle minion with a dark gift. Reduce the cost of minions in your hand with dark gifts. Ooh. I'm gonna give it a 1, but like it's like the type of 1 where you can play with it and that's fine. A lot of these cards feel like they forgot to put Fandral in neutral core. True. Worst thing I've seen, Marshy, the Demon Hunter Legendary is up there. The Demon Hunter Legendary at least has like interesting things that you can do with it. This is just awful with no upside. Like the Demon Hunter Legendary, the transform stuff. Charge Wind Fury. Yeah, it's just spicy. Like you could do stuff with it. But I think it's a 1. Like I think it's the type of 1 where if you want to play with it, you can and you can get away with it. But I don't think this is like actually a good card that people will play in their decks to have good cards in their deck, if you know what I mean. Rotten Apple, 2 mana, restore 12 health to your hero. For the next 2 turns, deal 3 damage to your hero. Is this a 3? Isn't this a good Demon Seed deck? Or Demon Seed card? So you get 12 right away, and then it triggers your stuff twice. Isn't this really solid? This is 3 Flesh Giant ticks off of this thing. First you heal, then you deal twice. Yeah, how this card is worded. It does need more text. Like, I don't think this is gonna like move Demon Seed up a tier or anything like that, but I think this is a good card for that deck, isn't it? Surely. I'll give it a 3. Even Warlock? I think for this to be good, it has to have upside for the damage portion of it. I don't think it's good for just heal 12. I think you have to want to damage your hero for it to be good. And I don't think even Warlock is really there anymore. Like, you want to be a low health total just to play Molten Giant, but like, even Warlock is in the like, you play this if you really want to tier right now, not in the like it's good. And I don't think this is good with it. So I don't know. Like, if you were running Amethyst Spellstone, sure. Like, if you're spellstoning it with Rotten Apple, maybe. Now I want to try that, but like, I don't know. 3 ticks for Flesh Giant. Yeah, I said that earlier. That's why I'm giving it a 3. Like, it seems really good for Demon Seed, for Flesh Giant there, but yeah. Avant Gardening. All right, that was funny. Normal Gardening is so passe. So 2 mana, discover a Death Rattle minion with a Dark Gift. I think this is not good in Wild. It's a 1. Excuse me, but maybe you still play it if you're running a Dark Gift deck. But like, Overgrown Horror, 5 mana, 4/5 or 4/6 taunt. So it does have taunt on it. It's like it has some immediate impact, even if it's not that much. Reduce the cost of minions in your hand with Dark Gifts by 2. And like, most of the Dark Gift discoverers are cheap, right? And they're all under this. So you can go 2 into 2 or 3 into 4 into this. It's not bad. Discount 3 things on curve. If you're gonna run Dark Gifts, I think you run this, but like a Dark Gift deck, not if you're just running Xavius, because Xavius is independently good. But yeah, still a 1. All right, that's the end of Warlock. So we got one more to go. I think Warlock. Yeah, Warlock got a couple of good things, right? I gave 2 3s for Warlock, didn't I? The ramp spell and the heal spell. Warlock, I think that's the best card so far. Like, Rogue got some really good cards, right? So yeah, Rogue I think got at least a 3. Maybe it got 2 3s, I forget. But anyways, so Warlock got a couple good cards at least. So on to Warrior, we have Brood Keeper. So this is if you're holding a dragon, equip a 2/2 sword, and it's a 2 for 2 3. I played this in the Theorycraft and it didn't even seem that good. And it does kind of make me sad that like Alexstrasza's champion missed her window. Like, the good cheap dragon activators and dragons themselves came out, I think, like just a year too late for Alex Champion to have a little bit of a time in the spotlight. Now I just don't even really care about that effect anymore. And same thing with this is like, you know, it's got almost the same stats, just 1 attack short, just whether or not you have a dragon in hand, and then you get a 2/2 weapon if you have a dragon, which is you think is good value, but I don't know, it kind of like, I would compare it more to Merc Spark Eel than, you know, to something else. And like, I don't know, Merc Spark Eel is not there. So I think this is a 1. Unlucky, you know, a few years too late. Siphoning Growth, 1 mana, destroy a friendly minion to gain 8 armor. Do I have Death Rattles who want to kill in Warrior? This is like better Dark Pact, right? But what are we killing with it? There's nothing we want to die, right? It's just like if our throwaway minions, like our 2 mana 2/2 that draws 2 cards, if that's still around, we just use this. Kill your Ancient Totem after your skipper turn. Eggs from location. Well, yeah, that's the intention for this, but I don't think we're going to play that in Wild. Yeah, I don't think there's anything we're trying to kill with this. So I almost want to give this a 1 just because I don't see where it's going to manifest, but I think it's a 2 mana, it's a 2-star quality card. I just don't know what the rest of the deck looks like, so I guess I'll give it a hesitant 2. Then we have Scrumbus to Madness. So 3 mana, discover a friendly dragon that died this game, resummon it. Is our best dragon the new one, Yasandra? Is that all we got? If you could get 10 Trasher down pretty fast, you know, that's alright. 3 mana for a 10 Trasher. Well, it is looking like the only thing. Yeah, I don't really see it. You wouldn't put Siphoning Growth in Arena Warrior? I don't know that I would, to be honest. Maybe. Like, Dark Pact, I've tried in Reno Warlock, and it has not felt good. Because Reno Warlock doesn't have anything that I want to be dead. Like, you want to be able to Dark Pact your own Mana Geodes. You want to Dark Pact your Crystallizer so you can get it back with Raised Dead, as far as like playing it in Demon Seed. But like, you're only playing this to gain 8 armor. I don't know, maybe I am undervaluing it, not gonna lie. Like, I could definitely be like too hung up on wanting something to be dead, but the fact that it's only 1 for 8 armor at the cost of destroying something, and it's never like you're destroying something and you want it to be gone. Barov, all right, okay, all right, we have Barov. Oh, Barov. Oh, this is so cool with Barov. All right, I'm in. 3-star card? What do you think, Barkley? He has no opinion. All right, I'm in. Barov was enough. Maybe. I think. Yeah, almost a 3-star card. 2 or 3. Probably 3. Barov, good. This is doo-doo. Clutch of Corruption. So 2 mana, location, 2 durability, choose a friendly dragon, summon a 0/2 egg that hatches into a copy of it. So this is another thing you'd want to destroy with the thingamajig. But like, what friendly dragon are we? It's like if we could get Menagerie Warrior going and get 10 Trasher down really fast, you know, playing that alongside this is pretty good. But then you'd have to have a way to like buff the eggs so they can attack, because I don't think you want to run, like, you might still run the destroy something to gain 8 armor, but I think you really want more to make use of the 0/2 bodies. And how are we doing that in Warrior? It's made for Yasandra. You're right, but that's a standard level combo that we're playing Wild. I'm trying to think of like, is something good we can do with it in Wild? I don't think there is. So I think I give it a 1, but I could see it being a 2. Then we have Egg Basher. So 4 mana, 3/5, deal 1 damage to a minion and give a +4 attack. That's a 1. I mean, like, the 2 for 2/3 that does the same thing but only 2 attack would see play before this. It's a pretty stupid looking card. We have Tortilla. So Tortilla is going to be pretty funny. I don't know. So you run this with Chemical Spill, even in Standard, and you run Hydration Station or whatever, and it's like an unkillable taunt. So every time you Chemical Spill into this, you're going to win against aggro in Wild, right? But like, how often is that happening? Can we make that happen consistently? We have that neutral 5-cost spell tutor. Hoji quest, and this ends it. It ends something. Recruit warrior. Like a chemical spell is just better. Like we don't like recruit warrior is going to be worse than this. So we're going to chemical spell this, or we're going to do nothing with it. That's my opinion. Like I think it's in a you would be building a wild version of the standard big warrior deck. Like the big warrior deck in standard is going to be this chemical spell and hydration station, and you're going to use like ham and you know, other stupid things, you know, like Ziliax as your alternate taunts, and then this will just be one of the things you summon. So like I think that's going to be like the benefit of that is it's going to be a really anti-aggro deck, right? You're going to have all the shield shatter tools in there. It's going to be a worse win condition than just running Odin though. So like I think this is a 1-star card. What's Crimson Expanse? Choose a damaged minion, summon a copy of it that goes dormant for a turn. Chat, is this real? This exists? I had no idea. Interesting though. Yeah, it's cute. Hey. Yeah, Crazed Alchemist is pretty funny with this. It's true. Yasandra, 7 mana, 8/5 dragon, taunt, death rattle, summon a random dragon for each time Yasandra has died this game. Obviously, you're meant to recur this a bunch of times with the other dragon support, but I don't think that's wild powerful, so I'll give it a 1. Afflicted Devastator, 4 mana, 6/6 dragon, battlecry, deal 3 damage to all friendly minions, death rattle, deal 3 damage to all enemy minions. If this was reversed, I would say it was good, but it is not, so I think it is bad. I will give it a 1. Then we have Dark Rider, 1 mana, 1/1 demon. If you're holding a dragon, discover a dragon with a dark gift. Menagerie Warrior support. So that's a good demon to run if you're running dragons already. So if you hold a dragon, you discover a dragon with a dark gift on it. That's not bad, honestly. That's like a good Menagerie card. But I think this is only as good as Menagerie is, so I'm still probably going to give it a 1, but yeah, it's almost a 2. It's a pretty solid card. You already have a solid demon though, Patches. I think that's fine. Like, you don't want to only have Patches as far as demons. Like, having other good demons to run is good too. Like, as soon as that's dead, you know, you're out the demon tag. Ominous Nightmares, 1 mana, shadow, deal 1 damage to all minions. So it's another one of those, it's another one of the like pure power creep spells. So you're dealing 1 damage to all minions, or you give a damaged minion +2/+2. So it's like Whirlwind, but with upside. It's also a shadow spell. Is this the first shadow spell Warriors ever had? It's at least the first good one, right? So Theataring your opponent's Svalna thing is now bad in Warrior like it's bad in Druid. Because if you steal that with Theatar in, you guys know Svalna, right? Like, I forget what it's called, the stupid thing it makes. But yeah, so like Vision of Darkness. So you discover a shadow spell, but you can do it forever. In Druid, if you Theatar the Vision of Darkness away from your opponent, you always discover the 5-cost card that summons 2/1/2 poisonous spiders, because that's the only shadow spell they have. So it's like it's infinite spiders. But if you do it in a class that doesn't have a shadow spell, you'll discover priest shadow spells. So like now if you do that, you always get this in warrior. I think that's the biggest impact it'll have in wild, not gonna lie. Not that that's big impact. I don't know. This is decent, isn't it? Like, nothing wants to run whirlwind is the thing. Like, if Grim Patron was a thing, sure, but yeah, I don't know. And that's the end. I think this set is seeming really fun for standard. Like, I played Theorycraft and the Brawl, and in both cases, like, I had a lot of fun. I think that like standard is going to have a good time with this expansion. Again, if you missed the first part, my previous video, I have the neutrals in the first 5 or 6 classes. I forget where I cut it off, up through mage. So if you want to, if you started with this video, you can just go watch that video for the rest of the takes. But I think this set's going to be really fun in standard. And it's like strong enough that Marshy can do his goofball Marshy stuff, but none of the things in this set has me really worried. The closest would be that one druid card that can do the naturalize cycling. Not because I'm afraid that it'll be an early combo deck, but because Mill Druid can just like burn 10, 16 of your cards. Like every once in a while. So like that'll be frustrating. But I don't know that that's going to like take Mill Druid from something that's not played a lot to something that's played a lot. We'll have to see. But as far as I can tell, there's nothing in this set that's going to like instantly break wild and make it unreasonable. But there's a lot of stuff that is at the power level of my little silly shenanigans that I can goof off with. So does feel like a legitimately maybe lower than usual power set for wild, but it's like right in the sweet spot, I think, as far as my personal preference. A lot of stuff I'm excited to toy with, but nothing that scares me like wild's gonna suddenly become worse than it currently is. If you're watching this on my YouTubes, remember to like, subscribe, send it to all your friends, watch all my videos and all that other stuff, and thank you so much for watching, and goodbye forever.